When 80 feels like the beginning of the end, nobody tells you this directly. But life after 80 can begin to feel like survival more than living. It's not always the graceful, serene chapter people write poems about. It's real and often raw. You've made it through decades of change, growth, loss, and triumph. You've built, given, endured. But crossing into your 80s, it's a different kind of journey, quieter, lonelier, and more uncertain than you imagined. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to prepare you, to give voice to things many feel but rarely say. Because the truth is, aging after 80 comes with a different set of challenges, some subtle, others jarring. And facing them openly can change how you live these years. Not in fear, but with clarity and strength. Let us begin with what is perhaps the hardest to name: the slow disappearance of your social world. Your phone doesn't ring the way it used to. Not because you were forgotten, but because many of the voices that once filled your life are no longer here. Friends who once shared your everyday routines, gone. The neighbor who used to bring in your newspaper, moved away. Your best friend from work, the one you called on birthdays, passed 2 winters ago. And it's not always about death, it's about silence. Absence, people drift. Children get busier, grandchildren move across the country. And you find yourself looking around, wondering, how did everything become so quiet? You may still be the same person in the mirror, but that reflection holds a past that fewer people remember. The Tuesday lunches vanish. The Sunday morning chats fade. The circles that once gave rhythm to your weeks slowly unravel, and no one tells you how painful that emptiness will be. That kind of loneliness isn't just about being alone. It's about feeling unseen. Like fewer and fewer people remember who you were, what you've done, or what made you laugh out loud in your youth. It becomes easier to feel like a ghost in your own story. But here's something you can hold on to. Even now, even in this chapter, you can still plant new seeds. They won't look the same, but they can grow. A smile shared with the clerk who bags your groceries. A warm exchange with the neighbor walking their dog. A weekly call to someone else who might feel the same quiet you do. This stage of life isn't about recreating the past. It's about not letting the silence win. It's about remaining visible, even when the world seems to stop looking. If you felt this thinning of your world, this ache of missing familiar voices, you're not alone. But don't let it harden you. Let it soften you to new beginnings, however small. Then, there's the body. You might not feel old every day, but your body reminds you in quiet, frustrating ways. One morning your legs carry you with confidence. The next, they feel like they belong to someone else. The stairs are steeper. The food you loved your whole life suddenly upsets your stomach. Your sleep turns unpredictable. And it's not the dramatic breakdowns that wear you out, it's the inconsistencies. The not knowing, should you rest or walk it off? Is this a new symptom or just a temporary off day? This uncertainty chips away at your sense of control. Your strength used to be your anchor. Now it feels like it's constantly being renegotiated. What's worse, no one really sees it. To others, you look great. You're still doing everything. But they don't see the hidden calculations, the way you arrange your errands during your most energetic hours. How you sit down not from laziness, but because your legs tremble after 10 minutes standing. You carry all of this quietly. And the weight isn't just physical, it's emotional. Psychological, it's the sense that your body no longer follows the rules. It always dead end. You releft navigating a new reality without a manual. But even here, there's a powerful shift you can make. Trade frustration for partnership. Listen to your body. Move slower if it asks you to, when it whispers. The little things, stretching in the morning, drinking warm water, stepping outside to feel the sun, aren't insignificant. They are how you remind your body that you're still working together. This is the quiet strength of this season. It's not in pretending nothing's changed. It's in adapting. in choosing grace over resistance, in saying, "I see what you're going through," to your own self and adjusting with care. And then, just when you've accepted the physical shifts, another deeper one begins. Emotional solitude. You start to notice that even when people are around, it feels harder to connect. You might not want to go out in the evenings anymore. Loud restaurants make it hard to hear. Getting dressed for a gathering feels exhausting, so you begin saying no more often. That's how isolation starts, not from a lack of invitations, but from the quiet calculations you make to preserve your energy. And slowly, your presence in other people's lives shrinks, not by choice, but by default. Some days you wonder, would anyone notice if I disappeared? Would they check in? Would they miss me? It's a haunting thought, but one that can be met with intention. You don't need a dozen close friends. You need one or two souls you can truly be yourself with. And if those souls aren't present now, maybe it's time to find them in new ways through a writing group, a church community, even online friendships that offer real connection. Because the truth is, being visible in this world doesn't always mean being surrounded. Sometimes it simply means showing up, speaking up, sharing your truth even when no one asks. And that leads us to something even heavier, the experience of outliving those you love. You've made it this far, not by luck, but by endurance. Still, no one warns you how much energy it takes just to keep going. Not just to walk or cook or get dressed, but to care. To care when the holidays grow quiet. To care when birthdays pass with only a text. To keep showing up for a world that seems to be moving faster without you. That's the emotional cost no one mentions. Staying connected in a world that feels like it is leaving you behind. Your kids, now grandparents themselves, juggle careers, health issues, and their own aging. They still love you, but the calls come less often. The visits feel shorter, more distracted. Life is moving fast for them, and for you it's slowing down. The pace is out of sync, and so are the connections. So you find yourself looking backward more than forward. Memory becomes both a comfort and a weight. It's all you have, sometimes. And you wonder, how do I make new memories when I'm not invited into the ones being made now? You're not asking for everything. You're asking to still matter. The danger isn't just isolation, it's invisibility. It's that slow fading in the eyes of others. People stop asking your opinion. They stop noticing your silence. They assume your time is empty. Your days are simple. Your needs are small. But the truth is, this stage of life is as complex as any other, full of questions, regrets, and desires that don't just disappear with age. You still crave laughter, still hunger for meaning, still want to be known. So what can you do? Start by saying something, even if your voice trembles. Say, I feel left out. Say, I'd love to hear from you more. Say, let's make time. Not because you're needy, but because you're human. Because connection doesn't stop being a basic need after 80. It might not always be received perfectly, but you'll have honored your own heart by expressing it. Then there's another kind of courage, opening your life to people who weren't there for the first 80 years of it. You might think, what's the point of starting new relationships now? But here's the truth, new. People don't erase old ones. They don't replace what's been lost. But they can walk beside you now, in this season. They can help hold the weight of your story, even if they didn't live it with you. Mentor someone younger. Volunteer if you're able. Share your stories with someone who's never heard them. Let them see who you were, who you still are, 'cause you're still here, still learning, still loving, still growing. And don't underestimate the power of presence, of simply showing up. When you attend a community event, even when you're tired, you're making a statement. I still belong. When you say yes to lunch with someone new, you're saying, I still matter. When you write a letter, when you wave to your neighbor, when you keep your routines, you're holding space for your own life. That matters. And yes, grief still comes. Some mornings, it crashes over you without warning. Other days, it just hums quietly in the background. A photo, a scent, a song, and suddenly, you're back in the arms of someone you lost. But if you've lived long enough to grieve deeply, you've also lived long enough to carry joy through it. Joy now is different. It's quieter. It doesn't announce itself. It slips in through the cracks, morning sun on your face, the warmth of tea in your hands, the laugh of a child in the distance. It's not the roaring joy of youth. It's the steady kind that stays. Grief and joy can live side by side. Let them. That's how you keep walking forward without forgetting the past. One woman told me that at 88, she stopped pretending to be strong all the time. She started saying, I'm lonely today, or that memory still hurts. And what she found was surprising. People listened, not everyone, but enough. Enough to remind her that she wasn't alone in her aloneness. That's the kind of truth-telling we need more of. Not the kind that seeks sympathy, but the kind that invites connection. That says, I'm still here. Are you? And if you're reading this now, maybe that's something you needed to hear too. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not irrelevant. You are still shaping lives, sometimes in small, unseen ways. Sometimes just by existing with quiet courage. You're teaching us something every day about what it means to endure, to adapt, to age with honesty instead of shame. And in that, there is dignity. There is meaning. There is an undeniable, beautiful strength. There's a quiet kind of power that comes from making peace with change. From no longer needing to prove your worth, but instead knowing it. From letting go of the rush and recognizing that being still doesn't mean being stuck. After 80, life can feel smaller, but smaller isn't lesser. It's more concentrated. It sharpens your attention to the things that matter: presence, kindness, simplicity, truth. It becomes easier to see through the noise. You stop wasting time on people who don't see you, on tasks that don't nourish you, on expectations that were never really yours to carry. You become more yourself than you've ever been, because what's left is only what's essential. Still, the challenges don't disappear, they evolve. Your finances might feel tighter. You might fear becoming a burden. You might wonder if anyone really understands what you're going through. That's okay. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just need to stay honest with yourself and the people who love you. Ask for help when you need it. Speak up about what brings you joy. Say no to what doesn't. Be generous with your wisdom, but don't let others dismiss your boundaries. Say yes to softness. Say yes to solitude when it nourishes, and no to it when it isolates. These years aren't a slow fade. They're a deeper dive. A time not just to endure, but to reflect, to teach, to connect, to let go, because you are still the person who lived a full life. You are still the one who raised a family, built a career, survived loss, gave love. That doesn't go away. Your story is not just behind you, it's still unfolding. If you're reading this and wondering what's next, start there. With the awareness that you're not just marking time, you're living it. And living doesn't stop because the world stops watching. It stops only when you stop choosing to be part of it. So what can you choose today? Choose to call someone instead of waiting for their call. Choose to walk, even if it's just to the mailbox. Choose to write down your favorite memory and tuck it in a drawer for your grandchild to find one day. Choose to forgive yourself for the things you didn't say or do. Choose to laugh when something is funny even if no one else is around. Choose to sit with your sadness when it visits. And then, when it's ready to leave, let it. These little decisions, they keep you alive in the deepest sense. They're not loud, they're not dramatic, but they are sacred. Because what aging really asks of us is not to stay young, but to stay awake. To remain present, curious, connected. So if you felt forgotten or left behind or unsure what your purpose is, now please know this: you're still needed. Your stories still matter. Your presence still lights rooms. And the lessons you carry, the ones written not in books, but in time and tears and joy and pain, are treasures the world still needs. You're not disappearing. You're distilling, becoming more of who you are with every year that passes. Don't underestimate what that means. You've earned every gray hair, every wrinkle, every sigh, and every smile. You've walked through fire and love and change, and you're still here. And that quietly, bravely is extraordinary. So take pride in your pace. Let your steps be slow if they need to be. Let your voice be soft but true. Let your heart remain open even when the world feels closed. And let these words stay with you. You are not a shadow. You are still the flame. Thank you for being here, for reading, for existing with courage in this season of life. And wherever you are, however you're feeling today, may you remember, you are still a part of this world, and you still have so much to give.